Welcome everyone to Style Esports. I am Tiger. I'm here with Thousand Eyes, and today we've got a matchup between Disperse Gaming and Imperial Knights Blue. Thousand Eyes, how are you today?
I am doing all right. I am very excited and ready to get into the games today. As games I casted yesterday were not great. Uh, hopefully, expecting a little bit better play than what I had seen yesterday. As teams are readying up in the draft, Disperse versus Imperial Knights Blue. I know that you have casted a bit of Imperial Knights Blue. I don't have a lot of information on these teams, but regardless, meta seems to be pretty exciting right now.
Yeah, we're seeing some changes going on. I think Nyla is still going to be disabled in this league. I'm not 100% on that, but I think that we should be able to tell through
Yes.
draft because Nyla's pretty decent spot right now. But definitely with the Sivir changes as well. She's one of the top ADCs in the meta. And I feel like there's a lot of big team fights that are going on right now, but it's still kind of slow on in the early stages of the game.
Yeah, very much so. Another one, Sivir has been reworked. She's been pretty solid. I'm not sure. It's kind of been up to the league to see which, if she's been able to be played or not, considering it is a decently changed rework, but she fundamentally kind of still is the same champion. Regardless, we get through bans. We see the Seraphine, the Swain, pretty common. I guess that answers that question, doesn't it? The Sivir seems like it's going to be locked in. The Diana taken away, though, as well as Imperial Knights taken away. Kindred, Cassiopeia, and Nautilus definitely looking to be a little bit more focused on pocket picks towards Disperse Gaming.
Yeah, and all of these bans have been pretty directed towards some of the one tricks here. I mean, we got Vision of Empires, big Swain one trick, so good to see the scouting coming in, the Seraphine ban, the Nautilus ban, all of these are strong champs in their own right, but also champs that are played a lot by these players. So it makes a lot of sense. Interesting to see such high Victor priority. Going to be blinding the mid lane there.
Yeah, and the Shyvana as well. This could be jungle. This could be top lane. We've seen kind of either or pop around. But the Victor, yeah, it's usually one that you kind of pick later as a blind for blue side. You usually are like, all right, we don't know what their mid lane is going to be. So we take the Victor because it does pretty well into everything. Prioritizing it this early when you have so many different things up, like the Zeri Yumi combo, like Senatom Kench is available. There's a lot of bot lane combinations that you'd really like to pick up here. So I'm curious to see where this draft is going to go from here.
Yeah, and the Yumi gonna be locked in next to that Sivir for Disperse. So, with the early priority on the mid jungle from Imperial Knights Blue, they're going to have to sustain some bans towards that bot lane, in either the ADC role or the support role to potentially protect this Sivir Yumi. But what kind of champions do you think would go well into a Sivir Yumi lane?
I am not entirely certain. It's got to be something that has some level of safety or can get some level of safety, as we do see the Jinx being locked in. I'd love to see something that can peel really effectively, because you look at what Disperse have now, and it is just a comp that's going to run you down. It's going to speed up like crazy, and this Hecarim is going to go up Mach 20 into the ribcage of Jinx. So you want to get something that can peel better, can get some kind of crowd control, whether it be a slow, whether it be a just full on AoE like stun or knockup. I think it's smart that Disperse are banning away the Alistar, because it's one champion that would be able to stop this Hecarim extremely well. The Zillion ban away, I think, is interesting, as Imperial Knights kind of just taking away any kind of extra speed up from Disperse here, as it's very clear what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm thinking we might see something like a Tom Kench here to support that Jinx. definitely making sense to see that Lulu ban. But you're right that this is a really good comp for speeding up the Hecarim, so that makes a lot of sense. It looks like a situation for Disperse where they're probably going to want to get into some big mid-game team fights. And once the late game gets there, of course, Yumi definitely one of the strong late game champions. But I think that both sides are going to have a really good late game, so we should be in for some big team fights as long as it doesn't go super lopsided early on.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing here. The Shyvana, depending on where we see the Shyvana in the top lane, Shyvana can actually be pretty scary early on because her Q does so much. And here's the Braum. There's a little bit more peel, getting that ultimate down to protect this Jinx and stop this hard engage. The question then becomes, can you ward your flanks? Can you be ready for this team to just run you down when you're not expecting it? Imperial Knights Blue have to play this composition very smart, or they're going to just get run down because they're not paying attention and they're split up. Post that laning phase, they need to be grouped up and working together because all of these champions are individual parts to a greater picture.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think that for the early game here, it looks like the bot lane's probably going to be a handshake. Got a couple of hyperscalers here that just want to get farmed up, and there's
There we
not
go.
a
There's
whole
more
lot of
move
oh,
speed.
yeah, there you go. Gonna be able to set that one up. It could have been the Kled to go along with it in a similar vein to
No,
the
don't do
Sion.
that to me. Oh my god. Sivir ulted, Kled ulted Hecarim with Yumi riding on. That's a terrifying thought. One thing that I am a little concerned with from Disperse, and this is mainly just because I don't know enough, is does the Sivir do enough damage to really make up for this? Because Orianna is a little bit less damage unless she gets fed. The Hecarim will be great in the early to mid game, but does fall off pretty hard. Sivir needs to be able to put out enough damage to burn through the Braum, Shyvana, and how tanky those champions can get. As we do see the Yone locked in, this does mean one of those champions is going up in that top lane that doesn't usually go there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the top lane Yone, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Could still be a little bit of a flexibility going on. But either way, I was just thinking with you saying that the Sivir could be too little on the DPS. I feel like the sneaky video I just watched earlier today about the Sivir itemization very applicable here. Definitely, what I was hearing from him is that Phantom Dancer is a nice dream scenario if you can just auto freely forever. But if you go something like Collector, then you can get more damage up front, and that's kind of the way to make the plays on the Sivir. So we'll have to watch that itemization. But I definitely agree with you that if they can't get the burst up front, then especially in champs like Yone and Shyvana can be very difficult to kill off.
Yeah, it's kind of up in the air there. Is two of the teams on the wrong sides. I will fix that here. I told it to fix it and it didn't want to. Regardless, we will be just picking through here. And yeah, I mean, it's very clear. You can see what Disperse's composition wants to do. And I don't think there's any question on that. But you look at Imperial Knights Blue, and I was kind of expecting and hoping for a little bit more of a kind of like beefy bruiserish type of top laner. The Yone here is a little concerning to me because you don't have enough of a hard kind of crowd control frontline that can engage. You have Braum, which is going to be good to peel people off of the Jinx. One, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Two, you need some kind of good engage for your team, and I don't think Shyvana Yone ult is going to do it for you. I think Imperial Knights Blue are basically going to be playing the whole game just trying to catch the engage that Disperse wants to do the entire time, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that with the mid-game spike that Disperse have built for themselves.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really important, especially for the side of Imperial Knights Blue, to get to objectives first, get vision down. If they get engaged on, then that's where they really shine. but they can't be second to objectives because there's no way for them to get in once the
I
other team's already there.
I don't even know if it's where they shine. I feel like they kind of have like a lot of champion. The Yone and the Shyvana feel really weird in this composition because they're much more skirmish focused champions. And Jinx, Braum, Victor, they want to play that front to back. It feels a little bit of a mismatch here, but you get Disperse getting a little bit of as we do. Uh-oh. Client bugged. Uh-oh. All right. Well, I guess we'll go back to the draft law here and just look at that. I feel like it's a little concerning just looking at the mishmash of champions for Imperial Knights Blue. They don't feel like they work incredibly well together, whereas Disperse, they have that plan. I want to see how the early to mid game works out for Imperial Knights, because if they get enough of a lead, it doesn't matter that their composition is a little weird. They could make it work. If they fall behind, I'm not sure I see a world in which they can realistically handle that engage potential that Disperse have.
Yeah, I definitely think with the Yone as the last pick, counter pick, that's putting a lot of pressure here on Vision of Empire to perform. Gonna have to beat out that Scion lane that Nub Poop gonna be going. And I feel like with the Scion, he can even be happy if he's dying a little bit as long as he's able to get some gold off of
Oh,
some turret
Scion
plates
gives
potentially.
no cares towards the other side. He's just going to be farming up. He's going to be he might be dying. He's going to eventually do his job. It's just a question of, is that gold given over gonna matter enough? And I feel like it very quickly will become something Yone is gonna struggle with. We'll have to also see what build the Yone is gonna go. There's been, mostly, I think the Blade of the Ruin King into tank has been popularized. I'm still seeing some players just still prioritizing the crit build. I think the Bork into tank is insanely good and needs to be played, but we'll see if that's actually what we get from this Yone.
Yeah, Bork makes a decent bit of sense here because you're going to be trying to side lane. And maybe the call is not to group after all, even though there's a lot of good elements to team fighting going on here. If it's more like a 4-1, the wave clear is really good from Imperial Knights Blue. I mean, between Jinx, Victor, Shyvana, they should be able to clear out waves pretty easily. And if they're potentially wanting to just send Yone out into the side lane, then that could make a bit of sense, especially with that Bork build. But we'll have to see what their game plan is. Obviously, it's not as straightforward to us as the game plan that we're seeing from Disperse Gaming.
Absolutely. And we will get underway. I think we have to restart the client. Oh lordy, this was not a small bug. We are unfortunately going to be waiting a hot minute for that next one. But yeah, I think Disperse, if they have a weakness, it might be their lack of damage in the late game. Scion will be pretty beefy. Hecarim, like we said, falls off very, very hard. It's just really, I don't know enough of how good Sivir late game is compared to this Jinx, who we obviously know is going to shred through any kind of front line that you put in front of her in these team fights. It's also going to be really important for Imperial Knights to get these dragons down and make sure that they're going correctly. Because if they leave those dragons up and they give those away to Disperse, it's not going to be ideal for them. It's weird that you see a Shyvana kind of on a composition that is not really looking to win in the early to mid, because she wants to get those dragon stacks as fast as possible, because the earlier you get them, the more effective they are.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Uh, I'll have to see how this mid lane matchup plays out because they didn't lock in the champions with knowledge that they would have a winning mid lane, but I think that Victor at least should be able to go even with
Yeah,
Orianna
yeah.
with
That's a
close
farm.
engagement with her.
That's a far blade if I've ever seen one. They're not going to be really doing much of anything. Maybe Hecarim shows up and causes some problems, but Shyvana's not going to be ganking until 6. It's going to be pretty slow early on, I think. in the mid lane and even probably in that bot lane there, because Braum kind of just doesn't do a whole lot unless he hits that Q. Sivir should be saving that spell shield for the Braum Q because it just means there's no way to engage on that. And then you look at the top side. Top side is really where something could happen, possibly, just because of the geography of that lane. One person being pushed up too far means these junglers that don't have, the most insane setup for their teammates on ganks, they have the ability to actually chase them down. Hecarim loves those long lanes. Shyvana loves those long lanes as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're gonna see a pretty big farm fest going on in a lot of the lanes. Top lane is the possible exception, but I could even see that one going to a farm fest if there's not enough kill threat for Vision of Empire. But both of the junglers, also champs that are happy to continue farming it up. I think that we may just have Farming Simulator going on instead of League of Legends.
It's entirely possible here. And that does work out decently for I think both teams really. These champions aren't known for their super early game. They're not like level 1 to 4, 1 to 5 bullies. These are champs that generally want to hit level 6, want to get these mid game spikes on all sides to a degree, and then come to the team fights here. There's no hard stomp laner that has been picked up, except for the Yone, but he's going up against a Scion, so it doesn't feel like there's going to be a whole lot of ground gained in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But other than that, once we get into the late game, then that's where the action's gonna be. We'll track the dragons, we'll track the builds. But who do you think's gonna take down game number 1,000 Eyes?
I'm gonna go with Disperse just because I think their composition has a real purpose. It's put together with some sort of care. Imperial Knights feels a little bit like they've picked champions they're comfortable on and tried to make it work. And I'm just very, very concerned if this Braum can handle the Braum and maybe the Victor W can handle the load of this entire engage that is going to be put on their shoulders. So yeah, that concerns me a lot, and I think until I see evidence otherwise, I think Disperse's engage is going to be too strong.
Right. Well, you heard it. Going to be tough to deal with Disperse's comp, but we're going to take a short break here, and then we'll get into game number 1 of Disperse Gaming versus Imperial Knights Blue. Welcome on to the Rift, everyone. It's time for game number 1 of Disperse Gaming versus Imperial Knights Blue. Disperse is on the blue side. Imperial Knights Blue, confusingly, is on the red side. And we're getting right in, and it looks like we've got a stack in case of an invade from Disperse Gaming.
Yeah, trying to hold off any kind of Braum shenanigans, which I think is the right call. You want to be ready for these invades. Braum level 1 is incredibly good. So do take a look across to see if there's any weird things. We're getting Summoner Spellbook on the Scion. I know Summoner Spellbook has definitely been picked up here and there more often. A little surprised to see it on the Scion. I feel like Grasp's still going to be your better option here because it is a melee top laner. You're going to be in his face. You may not want to trade terribly often, but you're probably going to be in a position to pretty frequently. But that does give some opportunities to go for some not usual summoner spells.
Yeah, I definitely think it makes some sense with the teleport. Well, as you say, it does weaken some of the trading early on, so we'll see if Vision of Empire can take some advantage of that. But both of the junglers gonna start bot side here, clear towards top. I think that it's unlikely that we'll see any early ganks. Joby maybe could go for some. Hecarim definitely has that power. Cypher Soul almost certainly will not. Going to be looking to come back bot side when we hit about that 5-minute mark to look for that Drake, though.
Yeah, looking like it's going to be full clears all around here, which I think is just about to be expected. I don't think we're going to see too much action rather until level 6. These players not on champions that really want to go too hard, although level 2 hit.
Yeah, gonna try to go in. I don't think they'll have enough damage here, but maybe they can get a summoner spell out. One more auto attack would have procced the concussive blows, but Brandy Fan's able to walk that one out.
Important to note, both AD carries went longsword and pots, really expecting to trade pretty frequently here. I'm very surprised to see that from the Sivir, who has this Yuumi to heal her up, and the spell shield as well. Remember, the spell shield nowadays does not give any mana, it just gives health. So I'm a little confused by that one. I feel like the Doran's Blade maybe would have provided a bit more.
Yeah, or if they're not expecting any all-ins to happen early, maybe look for that cull, get some extra income. But both sides looking for the longsword, so I guess just trying to build straight into the item there and get some of that extra sustain per lane. I think that with the Yuumi,
Ooh.
that you do get some of that healing, but it's so expensive in mana cost for Yuumi to do that maybe you don't rely on it so much.
Yeah, some shenanigans up on the top side of the jungle there with Fully Anointed showing up on that blue buff and trying to get something done. This is something that can happen in this matchup. Orianna's early wave clear is very lackluster, and while Victor's is, not the most insane early on, it's better than what Orianna could do, which gave them the opportunity to run over, see if they could maybe go for a steal. I like the looks at it. And bot lane, just a lot of trading back and forth. So these health pots definitely are working out. Or at least the diamond.
Yeah, and now the reset's starting to come through. We can start to see which items that people are building. Nice cancel on the recall there from Brandy Family, make it a little bit tougher for the diamond. Actually going to force the bot lane to stay around, so that's meaningful plays there. A little bit of a 2v2 setup in the mid lane, but neither side looking to do very much damage before they just back it all off.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Joby decided to show himself there. That felt... Saber, what are you doing, buddy? I'm a little surprised that Hecarim showed himself there. That was not really a gank from Shyvana. That was just trying to get the shove in, trying to get the back there. I guess you do keep the back from happening. I don't really think you lose a lot by allowing the Victor to back. It just bounces off. Feels a little weird, but they do that nonetheless. And now top lane kind of just not going great for Nabupfa.
Yeah, gonna be alright to just stay in there for now. Has that teleport if he needs to get the recall off, so it looks like that's going to happen. But we've got the first Drake of the game. It's going to be a Cloud Drake. That one just entering the Rift now. So we'll see how much longer it takes for Cypher Soul to move towards that area. Got some Raptors to clear first. But I think that once
Ooh,
that top side gets cleared, not going.
don't
Ooh,
go back. This is such
Dub.
no. I'm scared for you, my friend.
Yeah,
Oh
living
my god.
dangerously there. Of course, it's dangerous to dive a Scion too because the zombie can chase you down and even the kill score back up.
Okay, but it's Yone. He just hits E and he's good. Like, regardless, we do get the back from the Scion, the TP in. Now they're going for the gank.
Vision of Empire is level 6. Gotta go back to the Shadow though. Gonna recast now. Can't get out because the Fate Sealed would get interrupted. Gonna try to go through. Gonna try to turn it around for a kill. Nubpoofa going to fall. First blood going over to Vision of Empire. Will he be able to weasel back out of it? Not quite. Gonna be that devastating charge. And evened up 1-for-1 between the top laners.
And that's incredibly bad for Disperse there. They unfortunately lose on that first blood in the top side. You trade 1-for-1, and in the meantime, that's an easy pickup because Siobhan is on the bot side. You showed your jungler top. You lose Dragon. You lose first blood. All of a sudden here, it's just not looking good for Disperse. They just did not get the better of that trade.
Yeah, undoubtedly we see Imperial Knights Blue feeling good about that. But at least getting that kill onto Joby means that the Hecarim's going to be able to get into some lanes. Level 5 now, so the level 6 going to be coming soon. Going to be able to bring that onslaught of shadows to a lane near you. And once that happens, then I feel like the ganks will start to flow.
Yeah, Vision doing a great job right now, just keeping the pressure on this Scion. And it also means that Scion does not ever have an opportunity to show up for these fights until the TP becomes unlocked. Obviously, does not have the teleport right now. Change that for an Ignite. But this is where the Scion would really love to be able to teleport elsewhere. Like you see a dive happen bot side, you'd love to see him TP in and ult into a fight there. But Yone is keeping pressure on and making it really difficult. It's also just causing Joby to show up, gank mid.
Yeah, Cypher Soul gonna look to go in with the Dragonfall, gonna try to find the damage. A great shockwave from Fat Dubes, but it's not gonna matter. Fully anointed, gonna land the laser, and a great gank in the mid lane works out to a kill for Imperial Knights Blue. We may
Yeah,
not
but
be done just yet. Joby gonna come in, Onslaught of Shadows going straight through, fully anointed, gonna drop immediately. Zdex picking that one up with the Ignite. And that means that
I don't
we're
think you
still
needed
gonna
to
even up.
ignite that. You just could have left that. Now, Zdex does get that kill instead of the Hecarim. I strongly feel you could have just left the Ignite there and still picked that one up. There was no flash that should have been communicated. And that's going to be Yuumi taking away what could be an influential kill.
Yep, still gold going over though, so not a bad thing, but just not as good maybe as it could have been. Still, Joby is in a pretty good spot right now. Despite being down quite a few camps, going to be starting up this Rift Herald, got the Yuumi in tow. Now Vision of Empire going to get channeled onto, going to be dropping pretty low here.
Ooh,
Look,
no!
Nub going to show up, but the Dragonfall over the wall. Cypher Soul trying to steal that one out. Fully anointed going to land that Chaos Storm. Super Mega Death Rocket comes in for a bit of damage. Cypher Soul going to set one up. Nub going to fall, but the zombie Scion picking up a kill, doing the damage, whacking on Cypher Soul as well. Saber is waifu rotating on up, and it's a 2-for-2, I believe. And the Rift Herald going to be picked up as well by Cypher Soul.
Yeah, a nice steal to hop over that wall and pick that one up. Can't keep Shyvana out of that pit if she's got that ultimate available. And they do steal that one away at the cost of Vision of Empire. And they did also, I think, give fully anointed over without really being needed. No.
nice shockwave there. Saber's waifu standing a bit too far forward. Even under tower, you're not safe. And Fat Dube's now 1-1-1 on the Oriana. Going to be in a much better spot than before. Fully Noided still going to be feeling pretty good with those 3 kills. But you never want to feed one over like that.
I will say it is much more important that this KP does go on to the Victor. One of the things I always say about Victor is that he is a scaling champion that can snowball really, really hard if given the chance to. As we see this Rift Herald used on the bot side for that money. But Victor can scale really hard. Remember, every kill or assist that he gets is an extra 25 points towards his next evolution. So he got 75 off of that alone. And then the minions are going to give at least 69, and then you've got more than that thanks to the fact the cannons are worth more. So Victor already has one evolve already and is halfway towards his next one. This Victor's scaling a lot faster than he would be in normal games.
Yeah, we've got the next Drake coming up in about 30 seconds here. These teams have fought a little bit more than I had initially expected that they would. 9 kills in the first 11 minutes. Not too shabby as far as the pace goes, especially in our current times. And I think that we might get a little bit more fighting when this Drake comes up.
Absolutely. Sion definitely starting to get to his scaling points where he's a little bit tougher to deal with. Fully Noided in trouble, though.
Put down the gravity field, gonna try to disengage, but the shockwave pulls him right back. Fat Dube's picking up that kill. Now the Chaos Storm trying to chase Joby down. The Drake started up here. Cypher Soul in the area, so it could be a 50-50 smite.
Remember, no shockwave.
Diamond trying to show up as well. Dragonfall over the wall. The steal from Cypher Soul, and now into the backline they go. Joby gonna fall. Exhaust taken down. Now Brand New Fan gonna try to get out. Saber's waifu dropping dangerously low, gonna take a pizza to the face. And now Diamond trying to set this one back up. 1v3, looking for the kill on Fat Dubes. Not going to have the angle. Brandy Fan going to try to turn this one around. Going to get that nice shield from the Yumi passive. And here comes Nub, going to try to find the way onto Cypher Soul. Some damage coming down from that command dissonance. Cypher Soul needs to find a way out of this one. Not going to be enough damage from the Boomerang Blade. And all in all, I believe it's a 2-for-1. But it's Drake going over in favor of Imperial Knights Blue.
Yeah, once again, Imperial Knights getting the dragon, which is really great. Cypher has just been confirming these objectives for his team consistently. I just don't understand what the fight afterwards was. Saber was kind of just walking forward, not doing anything for the team, just taking AoE damage, not even like soaking up any actual damage that was for a purpose. And then afterwards, the Diamond is just so far forward, still had the flash available to get over that wall and get out of that fight, but just committed to it. And I don't think there was a snowball's chance in hell that that was ever going to turn into anything more than just a death for Jinx.
Could have been a better situation, but still Imperial Knights Blue now up a little bit under 1,000. They've got the first 2 Drakes. They're in a pretty good spot. They're looking to get even more gold once they take this tower. Brandy Fan doesn't want to allow it, though. The Diamond with that Kraken Slayer. Both ADCs completing that Kraken Slayer first item. Going to be doing a lot of damage.
They're setting up for a gank, though.
Yeah, Joby in the area as the cat attached. I think that the roam down from Fully Noided helped avoid any action going on. And that means that first brick going to go in favor of Imperial Knights Blue.
It was not just that. I think they also kind of had an idea. So they were playing that far forward. They also had vision over on the river there. So they may have caught a peek there. I definitely saw a ping from Imperial Knights that something was weird there. So they are just going to get that first brick. And once again, despite being down in kills, up in gold right now, thanks to their better objective control and their better laning phase so far. So this is looking very good for Imperial, and we'll see if they can keep this up. Remember, one of the things we said was they weren't going to do well if they started falling behind, because they need to be able to soak up and engage from this team that is so incredibly good at engaging. And right now, with this gold lead, they are looking like they're going to be capable of doing so.
Yeah. I think that it's been interesting to see that Zdex has spent a lot of time just teaming up with Joby, going for whatever ganks they can find, and not a lot of time in lane. That's been allowing a little bit more experience to go over to Brandyfan. I guess that's been going both ways. Both 80 carries up a couple levels on the supports, but getting those roams in has definitely helped the kill score look how it is. And now we're seeing a little bit of a jungle invasion to try to pick up an enemy blue buff from Imperial Knights Blue. Got to take away your namesake buff, you know, and they may be starting up the Rift Herald as well.
And once again, the objective control that we have seen from Imperial Knights has been nothing short of amazing. Nice move by Joby to get in front of that Fate Sealed, force the flash out of the Yone, take one of those escapes away. But that's the kind of minor victory. Taking a flash away does not compare to getting that Rift Herald on the other side. A nice objective bounty, or sorry, not a bounty. I can't use that word anymore. That's an actual thing. A nice objective picked up for them, and that's going to turn into more too, because they can use this Rift Herald in the mid lane to just force some kind of attention and force them, or they could just use it top, I guess. That's also an option. I was thinking use it in the mid lane to force somebody to respond while the dragon is spawning in about 30 seconds. They've got to run over there now, because right now, the wave in its current state, we're seeing Disperse rather, getting up into that dragon area.
Yeah, and we've got teleports on both of the players currently in the top lane, but we could easily see a 5v5 of the next Drake. The Herald is putting down pressure. Vision of Empire is in a bad spot here. Gonna try to walk out, buy some time, but goes right back in. Joby going to be there. Gonna be putting down the damage and picking up the kill. Vision of Empire falls fully noited, trying to 1v1. Has the Chaos Storm trying to burn down Nub.
Oh.
Not gonna be able to do
Oh,
so.
no!
Forward from Nub, looking for the re-engage, finds the stun. A nice laser on the back end, gets the post-mortem. Now Saber's waifu waiting over the wall. Cypher Soul gonna Dragon fall in. Now looking for the damage. Fat Dube's dropping pretty low here at the beginning of the fight. Diamond putting in.
Salty.
Onslaught Shadow goes through the back line. Saber's waifu picks up the first kill. The pizzas are coming in. It's the resets on those Chalicars. Gonna be at Brandyfan picking up a kill. And no one taking the Drake just yet, but I think that it's certainly going to go over to Disperse Gaming.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cypher not going to be able to actually contest it. Wait, no, they're not going to do it. They are just not going to do it right now. They don't want to risk it. So they are not fully aware. Actually, the TPs did come in, so fully noited. Actually kind of keeps that dragon from going down. And now they might actually go back over to Imperial Knights. Because I believe... Well, actually, I have teams backwards.
A nice use of both of the teleports into that bot lane, I believe, to push Disperse Gaming off of the dragon. They didn't have the smite up. Joby fell in the fight. And across the map, another pretty good play coming out here from Imperial Knights Blue, all things considered.
Yeah, the TP was very, very clutch there for Fully Noited to help them obtain that other objective they needed. And now they are one off of Soul Point. Right now,
there was that Rift Herald that was summoned top lane, but Fully Noited took the entire tier 1 tower. I don't think that it got a charge off on the tier 2, so interesting usage. Maybe it was able to hold Nub in lane for long enough.
You could just say it's bad. Interesting, I feel like implies there is a strategy being employed. I don't think there was one. I feel like it was just, oh, dragon's spawning, I need to use this. And did not exactly work out.
Well, I have a hard time justifying in my mind roasting the strategy of people who are better at the game than me.
That's
I just
fair.
assume that naturally they're thinking of something that I'm not thinking of, but it is possible that it was just bad.
Regardless of if it was or wasn't, we're going to see the mid lane pushed in here, and look at the vision control on the bottom side of the map here. So much of that jungle is lit up by the wards. And that's why Cypher Soul is going to be able to just jump in, force Fat Dubes away. And another tower taken. Complete control here from Imperial Knights.
Yeah, It's going to help balloon the gold lead, balloon the pressure on the map. Here comes an unstoppable onslaught from Nub, going to try to set up the kills. Joby moving so fast on the way in. A nice Glacial Fissure going to buy some space. Now Cypher Soul going to dodge out, but Saber his waifu is burning down, and Joby's going to pick that kill up. Shockwave going to connect on the Diamond, and there goes all the damage away from Imperial Knights Blue. A double kill for Joby. Vision of Empire looking for the way back in. Fate Sealed not going to connect. A triple kill for Joby, and Fully Noited. That's not going to stop him. The Gravity Well comes up a bit short. Now Fully Noited trying to walk towards the tower. Pretty healthy still. Joby not going to have enough of a health bar to contest there, but a triple kill for Disperse Gaming's jungler.
And that is exactly the weakness that Imperial Knights' composition has. They've been doing a great job with those objectives, but we've seen how they kind of just lack the ability to stop this team from just running at them. The Hecarim flew in, and the Scion as well. Just both of them running down with Ghost, getting on top of those opposing members, and Fully Noited just kind of got chucked over the wall, couldn't keep providing for anything for that fight once it moved away from him. And then at the end of that, we saw the really nice Shockwave to get the Diamond down and get the Onslaught of Shadows to pick up that kill. You just saw how fast they were moving. Just one by one, they were just ran down by how much move speed this composition from Disperse Gaming has.
So Imperial Knights Blue gonna have to find a little bit more of a way to deal with that. They can't allow the Diamond to get picked off before the rest of the team's there. Saber's wife, who tried valiantly to disengage, but ended up just getting ran down anyways. You don't have enough slows to deal with enough speed ups that Disperse Gaming has, and that really caused some problems there, as you already noted.
Yeah, Vision of Empire 2 just has this Blade of the Road King working towards this tank mythic here. Gonna be getting that Sunfire. It's just gonna get worse and worse as Vision of Empire is gonna be so tanky and also gonna be healing up like mad while dealing a bunch of damage. Yone very strong in his current iteration, this tank build. Very frustrating to deal with. Shyvana going for a very similar style here, as you can see. The pretty common tank kind of AP bruiser style. There's a decent front line with where the items are right now.
This teleport from Vision of Empire, maybe looking for a flank, just trying to set up for Drake. This is Soul, this is Hextech Soul nonetheless, and that is going to be one of the strongest in the game to especially get some of that slows down, get some of that damage down at the beginning of fights. They're going to really get a ton of value if they can set this one up. It's 15 seconds until it spawns, and it looks like Disperse knows what they want to do to contest. They're going to push out mid-wave. They may take the tower, but they're going to try to get into the river through that avenue. And now both sides can see each other. Saber's
Engage is here.
Poke. Yep, Joby is in the area.
They're taking so
Gravity
much
Well
poke.
going to be set up right at the beginning. But here comes the onslaught. And now there goes the Chaos Storm in the middle of everybody. A Shockwave connects onto two. The health bars are dropping very low, but the Diamond is putting out so much damage. There goes the Rockets. Shutdowns going over across the board. Joby gonna fall, and there it is. It's going to be all the kills going over. A 5-for-2 ace, and Imperial Knights Blue will take the soul.
The engage went on to the Braum. We saw the Scion hit there, and they went back, as we do get a pause, they went back into that backline with the Hecarim, but that just was not enough. The Diamond was not the person getting pressured there. They chased Fully Noited and got that kill. But unfortunately, they just didn't have enough left to chase down the Jinx as well. Jinx was free hitting through most of that fight, and we saw how devastating that could be if you just leave her alone. A nice fight, and the soul picked up. Remember, this is double good here. Not only are you getting the Hextech soul, but you're getting the Shyvana passive as well. That is 10 armor and MR per dragon picked up. Currently 40 MR and armor. That's a lot of bonus defensive stats to help keep this bruiser frontline forward.
Yeah, and not only that, but with 20 plus seconds on all of the death timers, I think that Baron is going to go over as well. So Imperial Knights Blue getting a huge influx of gold stats and power right here. And I feel like once they get the Baron, they will have a chance to at least break the base, if not go entirely and look for the end.
Absolutely, here is this is definitely going to open up some of the base here. We do still see a pause, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. We're back at it. I think they might just go for the Baron and try and push after that. I'm a little concerned by that. And the reason I say that is mostly just because we see how rough some of these fights have gone. We got a good fight here from Imperial Knights, but a lot of that came from just the lack of engage on the Jinx. When the Jinx has been focused down, this team has kind of crumpled. And I'm not sure if that really changes with a Baron buff or without.
Well, the Baron buff will definitely help give them some pushing power. Maybe it will allow them to siege out some towers. And we see the resets all coming through, so they're not going to have... I saw for a moment Vision of Empire walking towards the bot lane, but that was just to push the wave out once. Teleport coming in now. We'll see if a fight breaks out on the back end. Baron going to be taken before anything can be done. Nub going to be in the area. Saber's waifu going to look for the disengage. I think they can get it. Unstoppable onslaught coming in. Saber's waifu tanking up on the front line, doing a good job absorbing some damage here. It's a 4v4 being set up. There's some good flame chompers going to find a root, but Saber's waifu already going to fall. That's just going to be a sacrifice to get everyone else out. So 4-man Baron play coming up here for Imperial Knights Blue.
Yeah, so, and they're going to get that tower as well, an objective bounty, 300 gold across all 5 people. And they're going to look to try and get another tower here as the resets are still coming. Victor's still on this bot side, so it is 3v5.
Yeah, they're just trying to clear this wave out so that the tower can't take any more damage. Nub dropping pretty low here. Vision of Empire trying to put down some damage. And meanwhile, Fully Noided going to try to take this tower out. Going to have to recall and get out right quick. Should be able to do so.
Seeing a little bit of a lull in the action for right now as the teams are kind of just prepping for their next objectives. I'd love to see, this team. I want to see Imperial Knights group. I'm a little confused why they're splitting right now. I don't feel like their team is at its best when it's splitting. We saw that great front-to-back team fight in the last fight, but this time around we are just kind of seeing them split up, and I don't think individually they're going to be able to take on... Like, this Scion has gotten tanky. He's gotten pretty beefy now. That'll do it.
That could get blown up immediately. Gonna have to flash over the flame chomper. Super Mega Death Rocket.
Oh, he wants it.
Gonna try to find the zapper. Flash over the wall, and the rocket finishes the job. The Diamond is on a rampage.
This Jinx is now very completely online. Kraken Slayer, Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer completed. 3-item Jinx is exactly where you want to be at this point in the game. And that just means towers are going to fall down like paper.
Yeah, 4v4 here in the top side. Meanwhile, Vision of Empire trying to get the wave in bot. Looking to start doing damage to this inhib tower. Just zoning right now to keep the minions alive. Those cannons going to start doing some decent work. Poke not going to connect here. And I think that for the now, they're just going to hold this line. But here comes the onslaught. Nub gonna try to start the fight. Teleport's coming in. Joby in the back line gonna look for the Diamond. Exhaust now. Gonna be the Glacial Fissure trying to set up the kill onto Joby. Cypher Soul is here. Gonna Dragon Fall over the wall. The shutdown comes down. But that's all they'll get as Disperse Gaming blow everything to finish off the Diamond. It's a 4-for-1 for Imperial Knights Blue. And they're looking to end the game now. Fat Tubes surrendering there a little bit. Gonna be the tower falling, and with the death timers all at 20 plus, I think that's gonna do it for game number 1.
Yeah, does seem to be, as I think the game has broken. A little bit too many pauses.
That means the game's
over. Yeah, I'm gonna also assume that as well, as I will move us over to that talk scene. I mean, great stuff there. I think all around here, this is a very interesting game because we saw... Oh, no, there goes the game again. I guess they paused. They paused at some point. Look, the game's over. Like, we're just done. I'm just gonna take us out of that one.
Uh,
And
Zedek's respawning in time, maybe just to get killed again. Joby's actually back, so we'll give them credit to at least get a shot at getting some kills, but I think that's gonna do it. The Nexus
yeah, okay.
explodes. 1-0 Imperial Knights Blue.
Imperial Knights blue pulling out off, I think, off the back of their objective control, as we see at the end of the game, 18 versus 18 in terms of kills. A lot of what they got was thanks to objectives, thanks to getting those dragons, stealing those Rift Heralds, getting towers down with those, and then moving that gold across to these fights. A couple of iffy fights with the Jinx that are getting caught out, but at the end of it all, Jinx was too strong. The front line was big enough, and the extra dragons on that Shyvana made a lot of a difference in terms of her being able to front line against this team.
Yeah, Cypher Soul actually ending the game 4-0-6. So great work on the Shyvana there. Able to stack the 4 Drakes right away. And as you said, the objective control really going to be the winning factor. And despite the 18-18 scoreline, almost 1,000 or almost a 10,000 gold advantage at the end of the game, going over to Imperial Knights Blue. So we'll go into a quick break, and on the other side, we'll see if Disperse Gaming can bring it back here as we go into game number 2. Welcome back, everyone. We're getting right on into this draft for game number 2. So we've got Imperial Knights Blue on the blue side this time, and we've got the side of Disperse Gaming is red, and we're already most of the way through Thousand Eyes.
Yeah, we certainly are. Definitely seems to be a much more late game scaling composition, I think, on all sides here. As Imperial Knights going for the Soraka with the Belveth here. I'm kind of curious because Belveth usually requires a bit more setup. And that generally means that she needs some kind of frontline here to just lock people down. It's also why she's been going Ghost, just so she could get in and out of fights a little bit easier. On the other side, though, just see the Kog'Maw Lulu, the classic, and the front line of this Trundle Gnar here. So it is going to be Trundle in the jungle. And that does mean early ganks are going to have to be something that is kept in mind here, because IKB do not want to deal with the level 3 Trundle gank.
Yeah, and once again, it seems like we've got a lot of big farm lanes coming out. I mean, I think that it should be Karma mid Soraka support, but whatever the case, having the Enchanter in the mid lane means that there's not going to be much pressure for Imperial Knights there. It's the hyper scalers in the bot lane once again, Sivir versus Kog'Maw this time, and it looks like the Shyvana top is being opted into here by Imperial Knights. So once again, top lane's the one spot where maybe we get to see some early action. Disperse picking up that Gnar, so we'll see if Nub is going to be able to get some advantage early on there. And like you said, the Trundle definitely a stronger early ganker than we saw out of either of the teams last game. But once again, it's up against a champ that just wants to farm it all the way through, this time in the Belveth.
Belveth incredibly good at that farming aspect, but definitely not going to be as, just not as strong there on that side for the actual engage there. And you do really kind of have just a little bit of frontline there to help her out. Not a whole lot is being given, as I apparently getting the, I am so lost. Anyway, streams are a fickle thing, as yeah, I'm a little concerned too, just this Gnar into the Shyvana not gonna have a great time with that. And I don't think even any ganks are gonna do anything, because you have nothing to keep Gnar in place. A Belveth and a Shyvana are gonna do nothing. Gnar's just gonna hop away, he's gonna be fine, and that's gonna be not a problem at all. The Karma also gonna be, you know, not gonna be setting up things terribly well. There's a lot of kind of jump and dive on, but I'm not sure how well that's going to work against a team that has this crowd control to disengage.
The other thing that's noteworthy here is that Srisai is back in for Imperial Knights Blue, the starting mid laner, fully noited and played well last game, played a good role on that Victor. Wasn't necessarily like a huge carry, but definitely did a good job. But now Srisai, the normal starter, we'll see if having Srisai back means that Imperial Knights Blue feel more comfortable moving around the map together. They already looked pretty solid last game, so it could be even better this time around. Karma definitely could go to a side lane and actually have some of that set up with that root, but we'll have to see what the plan is here for Imperial Knights Blue. I feel like they've got a ton of DPS, so if they get to objectives, they can definitely burn them down really quickly. But they're not like up against a full roster of tanks, so they could be susceptible to getting poked out here with the Kog'Maw, with the Victor. I guess that's why they took 2 enchanters.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like they're just gonna try and just run people down. Once again, with that Sivir, the Karma also great with that, and just rely on that move speed to be able to run at people. This kind of seems very similar, I think, to what we saw from Disperse Gaming last time, and I think that's just the power of Sivir. People want to lean into what Sivir is good at, and it is those move speed run at you compositions. but you see what the enemy team has for them. A Gnar for disengage, a Trundle Pillar for disengage. Victor and Lulu are also really good. This feels like what I wanted to see from Imperial Knights last time in terms of a composition. A much better actual disengage options, and we'll see if that works out for them as we go into this game.
Disperse Gaming kind of taking the opposite side comp. Both sides uh, really flipping the script here. So with that in mind, I think that we expected a lot out of that draft from Disperse Gaming in game number 1, but at the end of the day, Imperial Knights were able to deliver with their a little bit less conventional comp. But now, do you think that they're picking up a comp that they should be able to run this straight for a 2-0 on?
I'm not certain. So once again, I'm much more confident in the composition that has a better, fuller feel to it, and I feel like that is dispersed this time. But we've seen last time that the actual laning pressure and the actual, individual mechanical talent that Imperial Knights has can get them a lead and they can run with that. So it's very possible if the early game goes well, despite it not really being a full-fledged composition that can deal with the disengage, they get strong enough, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to tear through those doors that are being put up in front of you.
Right. Well, we're going to finish off the rest of our spectator delay. We'll take a short break. And on the other side, we'll have game number 2 of Imperial Knights Blue versus Disperse Gaming. Welcome back, everyone. We're on to the Rift and getting ready to get into game number 2 of Imperial Knights Blue versus Disperse Gaming. Once again, I am Tiger. I'm here with Thousand Eyes, and Imperial Knights Blue looking good after game number 1.
Good is relative. They definitely looked good, but some of their fights had issues. I think that had a little more to do with their compositional issues that they had with the team they put together this time around, though. Definitely looking like they have a plan at the very least, and that is run really fast.
Yeah,
This,
running really fast. Srisai may be
they're
looking
being
to
so mean
poke.
to this Gnar. Come
Yeah.
on, let him be.
No, putting a little taunting out at the beginning, getting punished a little bit for it, but shouldn't be sticking onto the lane. So I think that once again we're seeing the bot side start for Joby, but this time around Cypher Soul is cross map, so we'll have to see if the junglers are going to find any ganks early on and make any plays on the invades potentially as well.
I very much expect this Trundle to. One of the things that I have kind of coined as a phrase of mine is paying the troll toll, which is Trundle really only can, if he wants to not fall behind, he really wants to do two. He wants to do 3 camps. He wants to do red buff, gromp, and blue buff in some order, and then gank the lane that he's going to. That is Trundle's MO, and you have to play around that by warding or playing safe or having your jungle follow. If you do not pay one of those tolls, you are going to pay with your life.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Going to be first 3 camps cleared actually on this bot side by Joby, so not going quite as quickly as potentially he should on the Trundle, but at the same time, that'll mean that he's a little bit higher level when he is able
You
to
can
get on out to lane.
you can see that Imperial are confused because they missing pinged on the Raptors there, expecting Trundle to be there at that point. They were expecting the three camp start, and he just kind of went for the full clear. A little bit confusing. Actually, going right over to the red buff now. Belveth, you can see already has cleared the Raptors and on the red buff as well. So Trundle's gonna fall a little bit behind the further this turns into a farm fest.
He's trolling them by not properly trolling, is what I'm hearing. But anyways, he's gonna be going for that full clear. It looks like they'll be opposite sides, so the scuttle crabs might not be contested either. And like you're saying, I think that Imperial Knights should definitely be fine with that. They'll be able to get a little bit of a lead. A little bit of an invade coming out now from Nub to put down some vision. Gonna get the knowledge that Cypher is probably on the bottom side of the map. But not much action going on until Joby maybe looking for a gank here in the top lane. Vision of Empire going to get that vision though with the ward, and that means that there's no fight to be had.
Unfortunately, just a little bit mistimed on that gank there. Got the pressure forward, but the wave had only just pushed up, and so Shyvana able to back away pretty freely as Belveth looking for something on this bot side, maybe.
Yeah, Cypher Soul coming in behind.
This is a great opportunity.
Going to be targeted up now. Brandy Fan trying to go in onto Diamond, trying to finish off the kill. We've got simultaneous double fights, but now the bot lane is going to pick up the kill, and support V Jungle doesn't work out either. Vision of Empire now in trouble. Now Poop going to go mega here shortly. Gonna look for the boulder toss. Flash Chomp instead is gonna be enough for Joby to turn it around, but a cross map 2-for-1 in favor of Imperial Knights Blue.
Yeah, overall that is so much better. This is not gonna turn. Fat Dude says no mana, but this is a great pickup here for Cypher Soul because remember Belveth getting those early kills, getting herself going early on. That is such a big boon for herself. Obviously not 6, so doesn't get the evolved Belveth there. But that is a very, very bad misplay there from the bot side of Brandon Fan and Zedex. They need to have that warded and they need to respect that their jungler is topside. They cannot play forward.
Another jungle play coming out. Cypher Soul looking for a lot of ganks here early on with the Belveth. Going to be able to find some knockups. Not going to be all in, but now Vision of Empire getting re-ganked.
Oh
Joby
no.
should be able to pick this kill up. No pillar
No?
available though. Vision of Empire just trying to
He's
walk
got
it out.
nothing.
Going to be able to walk away. So the re-gank doesn't quite pan out.
I mean, it does in a way because Nub is not backed yet. So this pressure will hopefully create an opportunity that Nub can then get the back. As Fat Dube's also stopping the back voluntarily here is I like the pressure that has been put on this Shyvana. I think if there is a lane 2 gank, it is this Shyvana pre-6 has no ability to avoid the pillar. Sarasai taking a
That root
lot.
lands, I think that might have been enough for a kill, but instead just taking a free tower shot.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's a second tower shot, that's also a free kill in the other direction.
Yep, first Drake being started up here by Cypher Soul. Obviously not the Shyvana this time around, but they still have a Shyvana on their team, so if they can get those Drakes, still going to be quite meaningful. Cypher Soul not going to be contested until very late in this Drake, if at all.
Yeah.
Will be in the area, but I think that it's just going to be taken.
Yeah, they don't know. They're not fully aware. Soraka walks over just to make sure, and that actually would have been really bad if the Trundle had showed up because Cypher Soul was just level 4, was going to be taking a lot of damage from that dragon. But overall, they do end up getting that dragon. Once again, 10 MR and armor given over to that Shyvana immediately there. And that's going to help out that top side a lot as now the level 6 is there for both sides. Shyvana is a much better duelist at this current time. Ooh.
Gnarl whiffing there is pretty costly. Cypher Soul now trying to start up a fight against Joby. Joby no flash from before on the gank, and the Royal Maelstrom going to finish the job. Cypher Soul picking up another kill. 2-0-0 on the Bel'Veth.
Yeah. And that's exactly what you want. That I think is better than anything you could have expected here for this Bel'Veth. And this is kind of what we talked about. How okay, their composition might be a little bit rougher in terms of what it is actually going to do and what it's lacking. But as far as the play style and how these players play these champions, I think the laning and the early game potential from these players is just too strong for anything that Disperse can really handle.
Yeah, it's starting to become a bit rough as 2,000 is the Imperial Knights gold lead. They're able to get the early advantage, and I think that they've got a lot of snowball potential here. It's hard to deal with a Bel'Veth that's ahead, especially after a reset, so I think that it's going to be a situation where stalling out for the late game might end up having to be the goal if it gets any worse for the time being for Disperse Gaming.
Yeah, so far the scaling already starting to hit. I mean, if you got kills on this team, you absolutely want them to be on the Bel'Veth or the Sivir. So right now, you can see now Vision of Empire going forward. No Gnar, so Nub is going to be in a little bit of trouble.
I think you should be able to just walk this one
Oof.
out. But, on the back end of going mini, takes a pretty big
Slap that tiny boy.
Yeah, it felt like it was a little bit of a strange engage there. Surisai now trying to set something up, but getting hit by the traffic. Chaos Storm going to be burning down very low. Has the healing. Going to have flash available as well. Not even going to need to use it though. Able to sustain out that Chaos Storm. So despite the deep trade, no summoners burnt.
Soraka ult being used as well there. That's a major cooldown used just to try and keep the mid laner alive. Yeah, this is unfortunately a bit of a misplay on that mid lane. Luckily, they have that Soraka, though. Bot lane is just keeping pressure on. Look at the farm difference between this Sivir and this Cogball right now. And you have the Bel'Veth around as well. You can see that these teams are focusing on one side of the map. And right now, one is working better than the other.
Empire doesn't have any way out, just has to fight this one out. Nubpufa going to go mega though, so there's no kill to be had. There's the kill, but
look at bot,
and that means that it's the endless banquet. Cypher Soul on the Bel'Veth going to be able to set up the first tower take. We'll have to see if they push.
And they got
still got 3 bots.
They got the fishies. They're coming.
Yeah,
this is.
Fishies. They got 4.
I mean, look, this is what makes.
Oh
no!
Burn from Cypher Soul. Not going to fall to the Ignite just yet. So going to be able to get out of this one. But Just the first tower being taken is all they can get.
Yeah, and that could have been a lot more too if Belveth had not gone a little bit too far forward there. Because you want to keep Belveth in there. Anytime she's around things that die, she gets her enemies that die, I guess, rather, as we got to
Oh,
fight
Vision of
topside.
Empire just being bullied here, not gonna be able to get out. Gets taken down before the ult comes back up twice in a row. Joby absolutely camping this top lane.
And Trundle is so very good at that. Look at the stats that are being built immediately too. Vision of Empire getting those tank stats, and the Trundle loves stealing those. So makes a lot of sense, but it is at the cost of this farm that Belveth is picking up, at the cost of their bottom lane, one tower already down, and right before Dragon spawns, even though they're getting these kills on the top side, I don't think they have a way to pressure this Dragon.
Yes, Resai now setting up with the root. Fat Dube's going to get hit. Not knocked up just yet. Going to be silenced there for the moment, but able to get out with the flash. And has to burn the ulti as well, so not going to have that for the Drake fight here in just about 10 seconds. As it spawns, both sides kind of descending upon the area. Vision of Empire doesn't have teleport available, so only 4 members available here for Imperial Knights Blue. It looks like that's going to be the case for both sides, though, as Nub
Yeah,
running top lane.
that stop's actually pretty important because it means Fat Dubes can't just get that TP there, and they're just gonna give away another dragon once again. So Shyvana kind of getting that free scaling thanks to the pressure on this bot side. You don't usually see when the Belveth focuses on these dragons, but you do get it this time around, and Shyvana is very, very thankful. But really, Imperial Knights, their objective control throughout this entire series has been leagues better than anything that Disperse Gaming has been able to put together. And just look at the plates they have gotten. Look at the towers they have gotten. They've gotten a Rift Herald. They've gotten a dragon, or 2 dragons rather. This is just a clinic in terms of objectives, and it is continuing in this game.
That makes sense considering their draft. I mean, you want to take all the Drakes because you got Shyvana. You want to take all the Heralds because you got Belveth. You want to take all the turret plates because they give you gold. And they're doing a great job with all of those, so making the most out of this draft that they've picked. And they don't have necessarily a traditional front line, but with their enchanters, they're making it work. They've already got the first tower. Srisai always making the best out of these trades onto Fat Dubes. Going to be able to connect. Looking for the all-in now, flashing forward. Going to find the tether, going to find the root. Chaos Storm ticking down, but
Doesn't have the damage.
A laser goes down. Gravity well going to find the storm. Trying to turn around the wave, doing some damage as well. The root not going to be enough. Wild growth comes in. Zedex in the area, going to slow up Srisai, and Fat Dubes able to win the extended fight.
That's so bad there. Srisai, you're not playing a champion that can win duels. Sometimes Karma can do that, but that's not what you're meant to do, and that's not what you need to do on this composition. You just need to wave clear and get farm so that you can boost up the rest of these players on your team. I'm also not as much a fan of the Leandries here. I guess it has some use, but I would rather see something that has a bit more supportive nature for this Sivir, for this Belveth, because Belveth needs everything that she can get in order to do well with this team comp.
Yeah, Srisai flexing a little bit too much of the muscles. I think if there's no other champions on the map, that's probably a kill. But, you know, how much is the kill worth, and is it worth the risk? Clearly, in this case, it didn't pan out. And good job by Zedex to come in support. Now Cypher Soul going to be in a problematic area. A nice warp catching him out. Saber's wife who's sure to fall. Cypher Soul going to be able to walk out alive, but the sacrifice means that another kill has gone over to Disperse Gaming.
Absolutely is. That will give them enough time to try and get some of these objectives here, try and get some of this tower. Not going to be able to get a whole lot. Vision of Empire has been able to pressure up here pretty well, but needs to leave soon. There is an entire team heading up your direction, buddy.
Yep. Rift Herald on the map. Definitely more of a point of contention when there is a Belveth. The second Herald, not always the most popular, but going to be started up right on spawn. Cypher Soul and Srisai descending on the area. Zedek's already dropped to half. Dragonfall coming out. Vision of Empire going to look to finish off the
That's
kill.
one Belbeth.
It's a 5v5 fight breaking out. Joby dropping down to half as well. Going to be shredded up. Vision of Empire doing so much work despite the 0-3-0 start. Going to be able to carry out this fight. To Diamond just shredding up the Rift Herald. Going to be another Herald. The objectives keep falling in favor of Imperial Knights Blue, and they're going to be able to push this one towards the mid lane.
And the power that they have given this Belveth and those extra kills comes back to haunt them there. Belveth immediately gets one of those evolves, can turn that into so much more. And now with that Rift Herald picked up, Vision of Empire might be in a little bit of trouble. But with that Rift Herald picked up, that is another... Okay, Soraka gonna hopefully get him out? No, maybe?
Oh, Empire being dope here. Nub going to find the kill
No.
in time. Not going to be able to go mega, though, and that means that it's a trade 1-for-1.
Yeah, even trade there. I think overall, it's just kind of whatever. Both will be up around the dragon and do have teleport. Actually, Nub doesn't have teleport, so that actually might end up hurting them there. So they don't have that frontline tank there for them to actually fully engage on that. But with that Belveth now, you have the extra little fishies to help out and keep. Look at that. The fish is enough to get the TP in. So that already has become incredibly crucial. And Nub's not even trying to come down to this. This is looking like they're going to give this dragon up once again.
Yeah, Rift Herald is auto-pushing the top lane, already able to take a tower, already able to get more effect than the last game Rift Herald, despite the fact that it was dropped in base. And now going to force the response from Nub, so they're able to pick up this third Drake. This time around going to be that Ocean Soul, so that healing could definitely do a lot of work in conjunction with the Soraka Karma. There's just so much sustain available here for the side of Imperial Knights Blue. If they can ever get a Baron, I feel like their siege is going to be almost unstoppable.
It's gonna be very difficult, I think, as they're just continuing to push forward here. I don't see a world in which this Belveth can really be stopped unless there's an extremely heavy dive. Saber
Flash away from Saber. Fat Dube's on the other side of the fight, though, has to deal with Cypher Soul, and Vision of Empire going to force out that flash. Saber's waifu hanging on to life, dearly going to be able to get out with the Mantra E. But now Nub on the flank, to Diamond backing all the way off here, so it looks like the calls to disengage from Imperial Knights Blue, and they are successful in doing so.
Yeah, this is now an opportunity to gain a little bit of traction as Disperse gonna push forward, get this tower. Once again, another objective bounty. They had him last time, weren't able to make enough out of it this time, though. Looking to get a little bit of something. And now the question really becomes, how do they deal with this Belveth? Because they have the Lulu, they have the Polymorph, but they haven't been able to really put things together and keep the Belveth CC'd.
Yeah, still going to be 4.5k on the gold lead for the side of Imperial Knights Blue. Getting that chunk of gold is going to help going into the next fight, but still playing from behind is so difficult when there's this much enchanting power going on, this much sustain. Srisai and Saber's waifu, both enchanters, going to be caught out in the enemy jungle. Saber's waifu, no flash, used it last time. The pillar connects. Now Wish going to buy some health, but Nub going to be able to finish the job. So good pick in the jungle by Disperse Gaming.
The picks are all that they've had so far. They've not had enough to really turn into anything as they've gotten these kills, but once again, objective control has just been completely out of their realm. It's to Diamond now, taking a little bit of damage. Chaos Storm gonna fall.
That's some good poke coming down. Gonna be enough to push him back. Not enough to mean anything. No objectives coming up except for Baron coming up in just a minute. But Vision of Empire now going to be attacked. The pillar is enough to force out the Dragonfall.
And that's all they're looking to do. That's all they wanted to do with that engage, is just get the dragon form out, try and just make sure they do not have to deal with that in a fight, as now
Saber's waifu coming in the area,
the
teleport being
teleport.
out. This is going to be the engage, but there's so many low health bars. How do you follow up any further? And with the teleport coming out, that means that the Diamond can just free push on the bot lane. So maybe not the play that they needed. Srisai looking to stop the backs, but ultimately the backs will go through. Srisai walking forward, flashing forward, trying to find Nub. Now they're going to be hit up, and Branny Fan going to pick up the kill. Going to look for one on Division of Empire as well. The boulder toss does not connect. No slow to be had there, and that means it's just going to be one kill going over. But that's going to be enough to stop the push in the top lane, and Cypher Soul going to have to back off as Joe B appears in the mid lane.
Another fight won for Disperse. But at the end of the day, what do they get out of it? They don't really get too much here. His dragon will be spawning in 45 seconds. The pressure in that mid lane does mean that there is an easy opportunity to move forward for the side of Imperial Knights. They have a way in on that mid lane. Bot lane has also been pushed up well, so you could see, luckily, Disperse are getting the opportunity to get some vision down, get control of the area a little bit, but they have to come from their own jungle here.
Nub walking pretty far forward and not getting the better end of that trade. Is going to go Mega here before the Drake comes up. So that's going to be expiring just as the dragon spawns. Not going to be there necessarily when the fight breaks out unless they can force it immediately. Vision of Empire has the full rage bar, has the dragon fall ready. All the ults available just about except for the wild growth. And that with no Mega Gnar, that means there's no fight. Brandy Fan going to be the target here, going to flash away. Now the turn onto the other side of the fight.
Oh, this is so awkward.
And it's just being kited out by both sides. The sustain is so much, though, for Imperial Knights Blue that their health bars are just back up to about full. They're looking to take the soul. They get it. It's Ocean Soul. Joby now too far forward.
Oh,
get hit.
no.
Diamond picking up the kill. Cypher Soul now looking to continue the fight. Has the Endless Banquet formed. The Diamond frontlining, just throwing down the boomerang blades. And now Saber's wife are going to take a chunk, but that's not going to mean too much. Srisai now trying to chase down the rest of the squad. Nub going to be running towards the wrong side of the map. Finally found that mega form, but it was far too late into the fight. Fat Dube's going to blast cone over the wall. Cypher Soul not going to chase any further, and all in all, it's a 2-for-0 plus the soul plus potentially the Baron in favor of Imperial.
Yeah, that's gone. They're going to take that Baron pretty easily. And I thought at the start of that fight, it was going to get a little bit finicky because they chased out the cog ball. They went up into the jungle. And then they turned back around trying to... Oh, he's getting out. They turned back into the river and tried to get... Oh, my God. That's so unfortunate. They tried to get over to the other side of that jungle area and just pushed them back. And I thought they were going to try and commit to the fight. I thought they were going to be like, all right, we're pushing them back. We should be killing them right now. But they played it smart. They said, no, we have pushed them away from the dragon. That's all that we need to do. Let's turn and burn on this dragon and make sure that we get this soul and then continue the fight. I think after they got pushed back, there just needed to be a disengage. I know that that's awful to give away the ocean soul from Disperse, but they can't actually fight it at that point.
Yeah, expertly played there by Imperial Knights Blue, using their double enchanter comp to their strongest effect. They get both of the big objectives, and now they can look to continue pushing. And now Zdex going to find a 1v1. Vision of Empire not willing to engage any further, though, just trying to steal the enemy jungle, tax some of these resources, and expand the gold lead.
Yeah, and because that is the Baron that they took, that's another void creature that Belveth will be able to evolve and get those Remora down, so the push becomes even harder for that team.
Vision of Empire taking a lot of damage here in the Chaos Storm. Gonna channel the Dragon.
Nope, he's gone.
Power is gone, and that means that it's well taken in the bot lane. The base is broken. Now we've got this top tier 2 gonna fall, And still there's members in the area. This is too far forward, I have to feel. Now Cypher Soul going to look for 1-for-1 here potentially. And the towers keep falling. And this is a good use of the Baron just tearing the enemy team apart.
Look at that Bel'Veth.
No answer.
Now that will be the inhibitor taken.
Yeah, not much else can be said right now. There's just nothing Disperse Gaming can do to respond to these pushes. The siege is just too strong with all of this enchanting. I want to check the healing numbers at the end of the game, but I know that client is glitched and it won't let me see the graphs of a game that I'm not in. And and that's unfortunate because there's just been so much of it. Saber's waifu and Surisai definitely setting the team up for success here. They're able to get 2 inhibs. They don't triple inhib despite the fact that the third one is exposed. But the Baron buff is about to come to an end, and it's a fantastically used one. 10,000 gold is now the advantage for Imperial Knights Blue.
Yeah, this is almost uncomebackable for the side of Disperse, as they are just gonna be stuck in their base now. There's the opportunity that you do get the Kog'Maw able to farm up and make him more of a menace, but it's just so hard to really try and close that gap as the game continues to move forward for the rest of the map. As you're gonna see, yeah, okay, Sivir could just do that. She has 4 items right now compared to the 2 and a little bit more than the Kog'Maw. That is such a wide gap there. Almost a complete flame horizon by the Sivir.
Yeah, and playing this game out really well. 3-0-3, 290 farm. That's the whole Sivir MO, really.
That's over 10 per minute.
You always got to take your toll, blood or gold, and now they're looking to take a toll on this base. Starting to look at that third inhib. It's looking pretty juicy, ready for the kill. But when do you have to defend here if you are the side? And here it comes.
Cypher?
For the engage. Nub goes mega. Now the Chaos Storm not going to be able to land. The disengage. And this is it. You just bait out all the abilities, walk back, heal up, and then you go back in. Here comes the On the Hunt, and how do you respond? Vision of Empire, just a menace in the back line. Fat Doob's dropping very low. Cypher Soul looking for damage. The Diamond looking for damage. Everybody's putting in the auto attacks, and there's not many abilities to call the names of when it's a comp like this. Surisai flashing over the wall. Brandy Fan trying to turn around some damage, but it's not going to matter. Cypher Soul is there. The Diamond is dominating. It's a 5-for-0 ace, and that's going to be game 2 going over and the series to Imperial Knights Blue.
Imperial Knights Blue pull that one out, and just once again, objective control is king in League of Legends, and the objective control was always in favor of Imperial Knights.
Really a fantastic game from them. On the other side, Disperse Gaming kind of kept it close. As far as the kills go, they were going about even, but whenever they got kills, they couldn't get anything on the back end of it, and that was the real difference maker in both games, really. They had even fights going both times, but they weren't able to come out on top, and Imperial Knights Blue, extremely well played series, well deserved 2-0.
Very well deserved. I think this team is terrifying because if that's how well they're going to do, I think the biggest thing that they just have to work on is the coordination of team fights and how they actually want to play out some of these compositions. Because I think there were a couple of times people weren't fully paying attention, they were getting caught out, things like that. But other than that, it was immaculate play from Imperial Knights.
Thousand Eyes, who are you looking at as potentially the player of the series?
Oh my goodness. Okay. I mean, I feel like it kind of has to be the Diamond doing really well. Had a great game on the Jinx, had a great game on the Sivir. Just solid all around. Cypher is definitely up there as well with that game on the Bel'Veth. I did not think the Bel'Veth was going to do that well that game, but I mean, made a fool out of me. I think I gotta give it to Diamond for how much CS that man was able to pick up in game two and how powerful that Sivir ended up being.
Yep, got the Flame Horizon down. Cypher Soul also, though, the Deathless Complete series run. Gotta respect that. But all in all, Imperial Knights Blue, a fantastic game today. And I enjoyed watching this one. Any final thoughts for us, Thousand Eyes?
I mean, I'm excited for whatever games are going to come after that because that was an absolute barn burner for both games.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone for joining our stream tonight. Imperial Knights Blue coming out on top with a 2-0 over Disperse Gaming. I've been Tiger. I've been here with Thousand Eyes. And on behalf of Style Esports, I hope all you out there stay safe and have a great night.